Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have just recorded a video for you and the clip that I was playing at the end didn't show up. So here I am, take number 2. Today in this video I will be addressing mainly the topic of money, corruption, and everything related to it, and a little bit about elections in Ukraine and when they might take place. So let's start with the article that I came across this morning. This is about Zelensky's earnings. So let's read this, everyone. From Polish portal, and it's titled, Zelensky disclosed his assets. His earnings have increased. Let me read you a part of it, and I have my exchange rates into US dollars ready, so we have an idea of what is officially stated. Volodymyr Zelensky has published his financial statement for 2024. The income of the president of Ukraine increased. That's true, compared to the previous year. Volodymyr Zelensky and his family earned 15.2 million hryvnias, or almost 1.5 million Polish zloty in 2024, according to the asset declaration posted by the office of the president of Ukraine. So how much is it? 1.2 million Polish zloty is $388,785. Yes, okay. For sure. The Ukrainian news agency Union noted that the earnings of Zelensky and his relatives compared to the previous year increased slightly. The main part of the income of the leader of Ukraine were treasury bonds, the value of which, after redemption, reached 8,585,000 hryvnias, and that is nearly 800,000 Polish zloty. So how much is it in United States, US dollars? In dollars, it comes to 207,000. The presidential salary, bank interest, and income from renting the properties he owns amounted to 6,700,000 hryvnias, and that is over 620,000 zloty, which is about, let me calculate, this one is about $145,000. The increase in the income of the Ukrainian president's family compared to 2023 was due to the resumption of rent payments for real estate in full. The balance of the president's family at the end of 2024 has not changed significantly, President Zelensky's office said in a statement cited by Polsat News. Okay, so my thoughts on this, everyone. Here is about the extension of Zelensky terms of office. We will go into it in a second, but let me close this. Of course, as always, this will be attached down below in the description box. You can find the link. Well, first and foremost, most of his money is not in Ukraine, as we know it. Second is that whatever they are showing, if they show something that is not good for him, you know what happens to those people. But since we are on the topic of election, just for a moment, I'm going to jump to it and then we'll return to the money with Zelensky and his wife, because his wife likes beautiful things. You know she does, right? Let's read this. This is from TASS, from today, the last day of March, FYI, the 31st of March. Presidential election in Ukraine might be held in July, The Economist. Sorry, this was posted yesterday, but today is the 31st. So let's read this, a very quick info. London, March 30th. The presidential election in Ukraine might be held in July, The Economist reports, citing a source in the Ukrainian government. Volodymyr Zelensky will attempt to catch his competitors by surprise, hoping that they will fail to arrange an efficient campaign within a short term, the source said. According to the news outlet, Zelensky instructed his office last week to start working on the election after the full-fledged ceasefire that might be achieved by the end of April, as the US administration believes. So here are my thoughts, a very little short commentary to this. Not a long time ago, a few videos ago, I posted In that video, I played for you a moment in which President Trump was signing a very important executive order. This was during the meeting that he had with the ambassadors that will be representing United States and many other countries. And that order is about the election fraud. This is not just going to be about United States, as I've mentioned before, and I will try to bring the people who can actually talk about it, facts, not assumptions. 72 countries have had their elections rigged using all sorts of systems similar to the one in US, and that was the deep state, of course, operating all around the world. So how he thinks he can pull it off now, I have no idea. The man is completely done, and ultimately his escape, his haven to escape to, supposed to be this place. Of course, they say it's not true, because nothing that he does, abuses the system is not true, because he's a really good person, right? So here, they are fact checking, but I don't care what they say. I believe that this is true, because this is the picture of his mansion in Florida, over $30 million worth. That was apparently the place, he has many, but one of the places where he was intending to escape after all of this blood sacrifice in Ukraine. Let's read this here, just this part. This is not the first time this claim about Zelensky has been made. In April 2022, former Canadian politician Nicolas Tetrol, I don't know if that's the way how to say his name, accused Zelensky of misappropriating Ukrainian aid in a Facebook post, claiming that the Ukrainian president owned 15 homes, including a 35 million home in Florida and 3 private planes. The post has since been deleted. So if that was the claim in 2022, in April, okay? In April, imagine how many more properties he has. And not much longer, he will, in my opinion, end up in Gitmo. And all of this will be confiscated. So let's not rejoice so soon, I will say. As far as his wife, Olenna, Zelenska, who I think makes the most money from her foundation that helps the orphans. I talk about it many times, many of you already know. It's a very profitable business because right next to the military industry, the human trafficking industry is actually, I think, winning with the military industry as far as making money. But, they say that she didn't shop for those couture pieces when she was visiting France a few years ago, a year or two ago. And she didn't buy that Bugatti for whatever was the price. I actually tend to believe that she was shopping in Paris. And since this is actually the area of my expertise, because I've worked in fashion for many, many years, and I know exactly what price points are on that level, because that's where she is shopping. Even though we were not selling the couture pieces, and I will explain this to you because this kind of gives you an idea. She's, if that's the case, and I assume that that's the case, that, they want to be certain elite. So you have the groups of people who shop in the boutiques who are already very wealthy. And that's one collection. It's called Pret-a-Porter. And that is what hits the streets. So what goes on the street? You see it on the runway, then it goes to the boutiques, and then an average person who can afford it or can easily afford it buys it, right? And then you have the second category, which is the highest category in that fashion industry. And that is haute couture. And it's made by hand, by request only, maybe one dress in the world, maybe 2 dresses in the world. That's about it. And it's the highest price point. You have to wait for those pieces sometimes 6-5 months. Then you go to Paris, you make an appointment, they take your measurements, and you have the dress ready after a certain time. So what are the prices of those dresses? We didn't sell those dresses in the boutiques where I was working. because it's just for very special people. And like I said, you have to make an appointment. But I show you just when you look it up. On average, that's the company I used to work for, Chanel Haute Couture. The regular pieces are between $40,000 to $80,000, which I think it might be higher now. But the bridal dresses can easily reach $100,000, $200,000, $250,000. As a matter of fact, and it was many, many years ago, this was already the price point of the dresses that some clients were ordering. And I know this from the management who told me. So the dress could easily reach $500,000. Yes, that's crazy, but that's how it is. And why I'm saying this to you, all of this, because I know the subject actually. And if she was indeed buying those dresses, so the official salary that Zelensky had, $388,785, this could be simply just one dress. Official. Now, I want to take you to a very good interview I've watched yesterday, even though I think this was posted 2 days ago. This is about corruption in the United States. Fraud, waste, abuse. I forgot the direction of how Trump uses those words. But this is really sad because that's what has been going on for so many years. Taxpayers in the United States should be absolutely, put in the blank, because that's where the money was going. Let me play 2 clips and show you the part of the team, Dodge team, that Fox has interviewed. The first one will be addressing what is the percentage of scam that goes with Social Security payments. And the second will be about the government bank account. Very interesting clips. So let's play it. I will be moving the time from first video to the second. I hope you enjoy it. Let me mute myself now.
Go through in order to retire. I think we can do better for them.
Aram Moganasi, Doge engineer. You go into these places, one of the more than a dozen engineers, first people to go into the agencies and view the computer data sets. Tell me what you're finding, and for people who don't understand how that process works, explain it for them.
Yeah, I'll say the first thing that got me really excited about Doge was learning basically the state of government computers. By some estimates, government IT costs about $100 billion, and it's funding systems that are over 50 years old, in the case of something like Social Security or the IRS. So really critical systems are old, they cost a lot of money to maintain, and they can be, the efforts to improve them are often very delayed. So I thought I'm a software engineer that maybe can make a difference here, and that's really what inspired me at a high level.
There's a lot of mystery about Social Security and a lot of words about it here's what Democrats have been saying about it.
It's absurd that Elon Musk is trying to eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security.
Elon Musk and President Trump have set their sights on cutting Social Security.
Their goal is clear: destroy Social Security from within.
You're in the building. I mean, you're in the computers. What's happening there? What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't line up with my experience on the ground. And I'll say the 2 improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protect them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say, they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you reassure
Okay, so you've heard it, 40% of scammers. This is insane. Insane, it's absolutely insane. You know, I happen to live in the United States for a long time, so imagine people who spend their entire life paying the Social Security, and now someone just makes a phone call and gives a different bank account to make the deposit to that bank account, and pretty much you don't get the money, right? It's a mess. It's such a mess. It's on the scale, unprecedented scale. Now, the second part is about the bank account that the government has. This is also very interesting. Let me play this. I just have to find the right moment in the video, so just bear with me, everyone.
And fired. That's what we're saying.
Tom Kraus, working at Treasury, you are having access to the payment system, oversees all the outgoing payments. Essentially, those payments were going places we didn't know where they were going, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, Brett. As an ex-CFO of a big public tech company, really what we're doing is we're applying public company standards to the federal government. And it is alarming how the financial operations and financial management is set up today. There is actually really only one bank account that's used to disperse all monies that go out of the federal government.
Time out. One bank account.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. A couple weeks ago, it had $800 billion in it, but it's the Treasury General account. So when you hear, some of my colleagues here, what they're talking about in terms of the fraud, you have to ask, well, why is this allowed to happen at a financial level? Well, it's actually quite simple but alarming. The Treasury, up until now, and thanks to President Trump, we're fixing this. In fact, there was an executive order that he just signed the other day, which is protecting America's bank account, because it really is the taxpayers' money. One, we're changing the culture. The culture is been not a lot of caring and not a lot of commitment to doing what's right relative to financial operations. There's a $500 billion of fraud every year. There's hundreds of billion dollars of improper payments, and we can't pass an audit. The consolidated financial report is produced by Treasury, and we cannot pass it on. We have material weaknesses. What that means is that if I was a public company CFO, I would effectively be removed. I couldn't file financial statements. I couldn't issue securities, which of course we depend on. Can't pass it on.
Right. The federal government cannot pass an audit. It's impossible. In fact, in order to pass an audit, you need the information necessary to pass an audit. You need to have the payment codes, you need to have the payment explanation, and you need to have a person you can contact to understand why that payment was made. None of those things were mandatory until just recently, just a few weeks ago. In fact, maybe last week.
Yeah, we're serving 580 plus agencies. And up until very recently, effectively, they could say, make the payment, and Treasury just sent it out as fast as possible. No verification. And so what we're doing is what any household would do. But imagine you're a household, you have a bank account, everyone has an ATM card connected to that account, everyone has a checkbook connected to that account. It's not just your children, it's not just your parents, it's your in-laws, it's your extended family, and they all can go to the account and disperse funds. No questions asked, no justification, no verification.
Up next, the Doge.
This is, again, absolutely crazy, right? You see, people wouldn't know about it. I didn't know about it, but people would not know about it, how bad things really were. And I really, really wish this kind of team, this Doge team, could be in every other corrupt country. It should be. It's very, very frustrating, when you come across this information. And for example, I found this on Instagram, so let me show you, because there is so much info coming out that comes to the point when you don't know where to look anymore. Nancy Pelosi, who used to be the Speaker of the House, that's another creature. Yeah, that's the one who is probably 240 years old, but nevertheless, Nancy Pelosi's vineyard received $14 million from US aid for experimental farming. Yeah, this is taxpayers' money, everyone. This is an example of how a $174,000 salary, I think that was officially her salary as a Speaker of the House, turns into a $240,000 network. And it's just one of those things, you know, that she knows what to do with the stocks and bonds, when to sell it, when to buy it. Is it time for DOJ to audit Pelosi? I'm sure they will. I think all of them will ultimately be in the situation when the money is confiscated, not just Zelensky. And here is the clip. I will play this for you. I will not say this is for entertainment purposes only, because this is not even entertaining, keeping in mind how many people have died. But let's just not forget who he is. I think at the core is still the same inside, just more corrupted. I will not, let me just go there. I will not play it with the sound because sound might be not working properly. But you're still gonna see who this is. This is the president of Ukraine, 2006. How they even elected this man, right? Well, they haven't, because they rigged the election. And even if they say people voted for this and that, that's one of the elections, in my opinion, that was also rigged. And this is the president. Well, he's no longer a president, but that's another story. You know, vibes don't lie, as they say, and I will just leave it there because I don't have to explain what I mean by that. And with this being said, everyone, thank you so much for watching. There is a quote I came across this morning, and I decided to read you this quote. Time is the only currency you spend without ever knowing your balance. Use it wisely. And so I appreciate you watching my videos, hitting thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, and giving me so much of your support. To those of you who choose to support my work by joining me on Patreon or Locals, or becoming a member of the channel, it means a lot to me. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's AniaK_44. And I will put on my Instagram all the videos that I play for you as well, as every other link you find down below in the description box. That's all for today. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge, and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Have a wonderful week, guys, and be safe. Bye for now.